What's up, everybody? I am KeyLovesGod. Welcome back to my channel where I help uplift, encourage, and inspire others on how to be made in His image and on how to be the best versions of yourselves. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you who are already subscribed, welcome back, sunflowers. Today's video is going to be something bizarre is happening to Walmart in these parts of America. Now, this is Sons of Thunder YouTube channel. I'm new to this channel, so I have no idea what this will be about, but I do have kind of an idea, and that's why I clicked on this video. So I'm not for sure which direction he's going to take this in, but I do want to say, if you guys are individuals who scare easily, you probably don't want to watch this. We do know that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but one of power, one of love, and one of a sound mind, 2 Timothy. So we want to make sure that if you do have any type of fear that comes over you, just say, I rebuke and I bind the spirit of fear in the name of Jesus as you watch, just because I have my own theories, and I'll let you guys know as we go. I'll kind of stop and let you guys know. So let's get started.
Some rather surprising things, folks. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. I just did a video over on my other two channels about this. I had so many articles to go over, and I have to give you a bird's eye view of this story, these numerous stories that actually sort of paint a picture. So bear with me as I go through this. We're talking about Walmart, we're talking about supermarkets, we're talking about your city changing, okay? Something that's happening over in Europe currently, right? That isn't really happening here yet. And of course, following the standard of what usually happens, it will start happening probably in New York, Chicago, various cities in California, et cetera, first. And this is sort of a 2.0. So, of course, it won't look like it at first glance, but if you look at it from a bird's eye view, it makes perfect sense.
Okay, so I don't know if he's going to go in this direction, but I heard years ago, okay? Mind you, some people call me conspiracy theorist, but I call myself a realist, okay? Because these things are so clear and blatant to me that I don't see how other people don't see them. It's like God gives me eyes to see and ears to hear, okay? But I literally noticed that years ago, the Walmarts would have strange, like, semi-trucks in the back. And, like, the way that they're setting up these Walmarts and the way they're redesigning everything is to look like that of a concentration camp. Now, I know how it sounds. I know how it sounds. Stick with me. Just hold on. Just listen. Because if you think about it, what do they have to make sure other people are not a threat to them, so that they can see if a threat is coming or that they can look over everybody else? A watchtower, right? Think about all of the malls and look at how they're designed, and then look at all the Walmarts as well. And if you notice, a lot of them have this kind of like watch out looking tower thing. And also, like, if you look at how the inside is and how they have everything, like the little gates and the, all that kind of stuff, if you really pay attention, it's not so far-fetched to actually think. And then with all of these food shortages and stuff going on, and then they're blowing up all of these different food plants, maybe it is to stop the spread of swine flu, bird disease, I don't know, any new viruses or whatever that may come out. It could be because of that. But it could also be because they're trying to plan another pandemic of some sort. The Bible did tell us that, this kind of stuff was going to be happening. And we also know that God has warned a lot of different people, like His children, that there will be a shortage of food coming, So I'm not for sure if this is where he's going to go, but let's see what's happening in Europe, because it hasn't happened yet here, he's saying.
We're talking about what we saw back in 2020 when everybody was in their house, couldn't go out. You remember that whole thing?
Yep.
This is a new version, of course.
Oh, gosh.
You got to have green technology in your house. You got to have climate change, things like this, folks. And everybody used to think, oh, come on, really? They're going to make me stay in my house over that? Yeah, actually, they're already doing it. And it's not exactly right off the bat, stay in your house. It's not like that. It's not like that, folks. They're starting it off a little bit differently this time. And they're doing it in Europe, okay? And you're going to see how this goes along with Walmart and all the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video. I have to paint this huge picture. It's quite a few things, folks. At any rate, so
in other words, stick with him and stick with me throughout this video so y'all can get, like, you guys need to know what's going on too, okay? This is why I make these videos, so that you can understand and be safe, be prayed up, and to understand that the enemy is moving, okay? So you have to know your enemy as well, and we have to understand what's going on.
in Europe, I saw a video on YouTube. It's about the only person that talked about it so far that I've seen, and he happens to live in Europe. Maybe that's why he's talking about it. No one else is. He essentially pointed out how there are. I think it's London. I think it's London was one of them. There's actually multiple cities in Europe doing this, and I know essentially what it is a section off a city into many sections. Okay, especially if it's a big city like London or Chicago or whatever, and you got suburbs. Like for instance, in Detroit, you have the suburb Pontiac, right?
Right.
So you got all these suburbs. You got various, areas around Detroit. Multiple of them. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. Pontiac's one of them, of course. My brother used to live there. At any rate, so the whole idea is like you can only cross between these two cities or suburbs like 8 times a week or 8 times a month, something like that, right? What if you have a job in the suburb next door and you have to travel every day to go to that job? Then they're going to make it to where you can't go there, or you have to get some sort of pass. You got to do something, right? Or you're not going to be allowed to even. And there's even some talking about the fact they're not allowed to do that. Their job won't allow, they can't actually go to their job. So they're trying to make it to where you're working from home and you're not able to leave very easily. Okay? See what I'm getting at? They limit your ability to move. And of course, they've talked about this with the new, money as well. Digital, of course, currency, how they can turn it off. They can put a time limit on it. They can put a distance.
And I've literally reacted to a video about the whole digital money and how they're moving more towards a cashless society. If you guys haven't already checked that video out, please go into all of my reaction videos and look at them. It's in there.
Distance limit on you being able to spend your money. They can make the money to where you only can spend it on housing in this type of. And there was this video of some guy from the future. I don't believe it's real, but he's saying like you'll have a housing coin, you'll have a food coin, you'll have a this coin, a that coin, and you can only spend food coin on food. You can only spend housing coin on housing, like that, right? So, interestingly, they already started doing this. This was something the World, of course, Economic Forum was talking about would happen. We're starting to see it, and it's very interesting. So, and that's actually one of 5 things that I'm going to be talking about.
One of
if
5.
you can think about that with regards to Walmart, you'll see how it fits in as we go along, because we're actually going to talk.
Just wanted to start a business. When something surprising
He just said
happens.
1 of 5.
Today,
Wow.
I'm going to teach you.
Going to talk about a number of things. So first, obviously, you remember the story back latter half of last year. Walmart temporarily closing hundreds of stores, right?
Yeah, yep.
They're already talking about closing more this year, right? And there's a reason why. And this thing keeps loading wrong.
I feel like they want to have Walmart in one dominant location. They don't need so many in each individual area, like Walmart supermarkets or like the little smaller versions of Walmart. I feel like those are the ones that are going to get shut down, and the bigger ones and the main areas are going to be the ones that are going to stay open because they're in certain areas to kind of control a certain region, if you will.
List of Walmart stores closing in 2023. There's actually multiple states, multiple locations. And the reason why, and actually it's probably going to become far more, is because of this story here. Okay? Great deal of uncertainty. Walmart slides on disappointing, of course, guidance. Forecasts, of course, a second straight, annual profit decline. They lost money for 2 years straight, folks. And Amazon is losing money now as well. These are the biggest companies, and if they're losing money, everyone else is probably losing money in many cases. Then we have this.
But that's surprising to me because Amazon, I literally shop on Amazon like every day. And I'm not getting why these 2 major companies are losing money. If anything, I would think they're like gaining money. You know what I mean? Do you guys know why? Comment down below if you think you have an idea why, or maybe he'll explain it.
Check this out. The coming food, of course, problem. We're talking a world level one. They're talking about, and this is actually.
Did I not just tell y'all that? And look at this. Look at this. Where there is supposed to be like corn or grains growing here, is skeleton bones. It's bearing nothing but death.
If you start looking into this, this is far bigger and far more reaching than you might imagine. I mean, just looking at the West, which obviously is probably the most well-fed, they're talking 142 million people aren't going to even be able to afford their energy. So, you're going to have to decide between food and energy.
Wow.
142 million just in America and Europe and Australia. There's only like 300 million people in America. 142 million. What are we talking about? I mean, Europe is not that big. Australia is not that big. I mean, what are we talking about? Like 2 billion people max? 142 million out of 2 billion? That's like 1 out of 10. You know what I mean? 1 out of 10 people aren't going to be able to afford their energy soon here. And then on top of that, we're talking about other countries that are not in the West. If you could imagine South America, Africa, not being able to afford their food. And there's actually multiple stories about countries right now with inflation that's like unbelievable. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, and I just came back from the store. When did Lunchables become $2.49? Those things used to be 99 cents. Now they're $2.49 for little bitty cheese and crackers. I was looking up something else. It was like $7. It's usually like, I don't even remember what it was. Soap. Soap is now $4. Just for 2 bars of Dove soap. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when these places in the West that he's talking about, and potentially us too, can't afford their energy anymore? And they're already raising prices on everything, especially food. Can you imagine what will happen when you have to decide between which one of those you need, which are both necessities, might I add? People are going to start rioting. People are going to start going crazy. And then what will they do? They're creating chaos, in my opinion, on purpose. Then they're going to try to be the ones to be the savior and be like, hey, I'm here to save you guys. This is what we can do to prevent all of this. They want to bring in the UN, right? And what's going to happen? Where are they going to put these people who are out of control or who can't afford to eat or buy these things? They're going to say, we can provide housing for you. Let's take you to one of these big super domes over here. Or who's to say that they won't use one of these facilities like Walmart to house these people in? Because there's going to be so many people who can't afford this stuff and they won't have anywhere to go. You can't. The homeless shelters can barely even house people there as it is. They're already filled up, and if you're not there at a certain time, boom. You don't have a place to stay that day. Then you have to go to the next one. Then that one's already taken up. Then where do you go?
Show you some of those in the video. And there's people, of course, in the streets right now over it in multiple countries. So this is already happening. It's just we're living in a place to where we don't see it. It's happening in Europe. We don't see that happening here yet, so we don't talk about it. It's happening in South America. We don't see it here. We don't talk about it. But of course, on top of that, we have other things happening that seemingly relate to things that the World, of course, Economic Forum said, like this trains, of course, derailing. We have one now in Michigan, on top of the one in Ohio, and interestingly, our new our current prez, he's not new anymore, officially rejected giving any assistance to people in Ohio. Officially rejected. But yesterday...
And why would you reject to give these people help?
Our previous prez went to that particular town and handed out cleaning supplies, food, and much more, even took out the...
And what do you guys think Trump's angle is? Because I don't like any of these presidents, if I'm being honest. I don't like not one of them. I have my reasons. Okay, I feel like they're all on the same side, but they want to make it look and appear as we have choices. At the end of the day, they're all for the same thing. They might have different things here and there, but what it boils down to is they're all from the same umbrella. But what do you think Trump is trying to do? Do you really feel like he is being used by God in all of this? Because President Biden literally rejected to help them. And then here he is. At least he's doing something. At least he's helping them. He's giving them water and stuff. And cleaning supplies, food. Tens of thousands of pounds of goods, foods, and water being delivered to the people of East Palestine, Ohio, right now before Trump's visit. Trump paid for it all. Number of goods delivered from the Biden administration, 0.
The firemen and many other people out to eat, paid for their lunch, everything. And he went around shaking people's hands, offering encouragement, all that kind of stuff. That's what our previous, of course, pres did. Our current one doesn't even care. He gives $120 billion over to that one country that has a WAR currently that nobody wants. That's what he does. At any rate, we're going to be getting into a lot more in this video. We're going to be talking about Chatgpt, some rather surprising things happening with that. Artificial, of course, intelligence. You just got to hear this. This isn't what you think it is.
And I made a video about AI as well and how it officially attacks and is targeted toward the black community more than anyone else. Asians as well as brown and black people of all kinds. Check it out, please. You guys need to be on this.
Yes, you're gonna be surprised. We're gonna be getting into that. Also, this rationing, what that could mean. With you got sectioning and then you got rationing. Okay, you'll see what I'm getting at, what I'm getting into.
So let's do it, my
and
guy.
Also, some other things that Walmart's doing right now. We'll be getting into that and so much more. First, though, food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. Lowest package is $127. You want to go check that out. Get some of that. If you don't have any, just get the $127 so you have something, right? Or if you want the whole big mega package, $797, 3.5 months worth of food, 20 other items included.
Wow, that's cool. You know what? I need to get that and just have it.
Scripts, trying to reply.
Stove, just all manner of stuff.
Here's what comes in the bundle: a survival kit, 46 pieces, 4-in-1 LED flashlight, reading lamp, AM/FM weather radio, the solar hand crank, waterproof matches. Ooh. Emergency blanket, free with a $395 value, an emergency folding stove, a canned heat and cooking fuel, and a 5-piece stainless steel mess kit, a grub and tools free. You know what? These gifts are worth $200 and they're totally free. How much is this, y'all? I'm getting this. If somebody wants to gift this to me, God bless you. God bless you. Email me, whatever you want to do, but this would be a blessing. If you want to give it to somebody else, you guys comment your cash apps or whatever down below. Bless somebody. I don't know, but everybody needs one of these.
Stuff, charger, light, water bottle, just like tons of stuff. They even have a reading lamp, weather radio. I don't want to say it all. There's no time.
Let's get to it.
Link is in the description for that as well. I've been uploading videos.
I'll put it in the description box.
Over there a lot. I've been working on my other website as well anymore. So I wonder why we did a video on that too. Save money. Maybe you should just skip breakfast. You don't need breakfast. Come on, you don't need bacon and eggs. All you need is some crickets and some insects. They taste so good, folks. No, I like eating eggs. I like eating. And of course, your housing has lost trillions in value. Redfin reports U.S. homeowners lost $2.3 trillion in value in their home. On top of it, and this all leads back to the World, of course, Economic Forum. They said you will own, of course, what?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be, of course, happy.
Yeah.
Right? Aren't you happy? You're happy you have no money in your wallet, folks. Happy you can't eat eggs anymore. Happy that you can't afford a home anymore. This is what they want. They want you to also not be able to easily travel either. That's why they're making these laws, and they're doing this in various European cities, starting there first. We'll see where they go with that here. Now, if you can imagine your local Walmart, right? We're going to be getting into what they're doing with artificial, of course, intelligence at that particular supermarket, and so much more. And also on top of that, they are rationing. In some places, they are rationing fruits and vegetables now already. So this is something to think about with regards to all that. So let me show you first, though, about this artificial, of course, intelligence and what's going on there. So here we have the World, Economic, of course, Forum talking about it, saying that whoever has this has, as you would say, control. And this is obviously something they want. So then we have here Elon Musk, who...
In the video that I was reacting to, it was basically stating that artificial intelligence is a threat and poses a threat to not only humanity as a whole, but also predominantly to the black community, because it scans your face and it'll literally pinpoint you to another person who may look like you, who literally doesn't look like you, and say that you could have been involved in a crime just because they identified your face when you walked inside of a store. And they'll put the two matching images together, and then boom, people come and arrest you. Also, when you're tweeting or you're on Instagram, the algorithm is set to where we get flagged more for certain things and certain comments, and it is just so much stuff to break down. You guys have to go watch it. It is literally... is one of my newest videos. So if you haven't already saw that reaction, please go over. If you haven't already seen that reaction, please go over and check it out.
Who co-founded a firm behind Chatgpt, says that AI is one of the biggest, of course, risks to, civilization, folks. And
yeah, why would they even need us anymore if you have artificial intelligence who can just come in and create fake photos, come in, can type total essays for your school, can do all of these different things that these robots can do that humans will take a lot more time to do. They're literally trying to replace human beings. I don't know if you guys can get that in your mind or not, but that's what it boils down to.
It's interesting because when he said the point when this happens is when the artificial, of course, intelligence is smarter than humans, right? Guess what happened? ChatGPT almost passed the U.S. medical licensing exam, and it did pass the bar. So this
AI literally almost just passed the law. I'm literally in it. I can't even talk.
AI passed one of them and almost passed the other already. And what's really not good about this is there's another chatbot from Bing that is off the rails. So these things can get off the rails, folks. It told this particular outlet that it would engineer a really nice little, bug, and then it would also be able to steal the NUKES codes. It said these things, folks. So, of course, these are programmed by people. We don't know what these people think. And, of course, there's been a lot of people asking ChatGPT a number of questions and getting really strange answers in response. We don't know where that could lead. I mean, this sounds like it could easily turn into the movie Terminator.
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger. I mean, seriously, it really does sound like that. Or that movie with Tom Cruise, because that actually leads into the thing with Walmart. Because they're using this AI now also in cameras, and it's for the crime, as we saw with Tom Cruise in one movie. Essentially, it actually looks at your mannerisms and how you walk to guess or guesstimate whether or not you're going to try to take, of course, something, right? They have that already. And then on top of that, they have two other things. Okay, I just saw these stories. I was kind of surprised by these. Check this out. They apparently their cameras take a picture every second while you're trying to do your checkout. Okay? Now, if you just happen to put your credit card up there, it's going to take a picture of that, and it has things. Okay.
That's scary.
I just saw
and I had to
stories.
rewind it
kinda
1 second.
surprised
Hold
by
on.
these. Check this out. They apparently...
It says every time you scan something, it takes pictures of you. Ex-Walmart employee says self-checkout cameras are 10 times worse than in-store ones. So when you go to do, I love to do self-checkout. Anybody else love to do self-checkout? Comment down below, because people can't be in your business. You can just scan and go, and the lines are usually shorter. Y'all can't be trying to steal stuff either, because I know people be trying to steal stuff from Walmart all the time. You don't want that type of karma to come back on you. But it says those cameras can read into your wallet, and they do. A former Walmart employee went to the platform to warn people about the store's self-checkout cameras, claiming that they're harvesting personal information, even taking photos of cameras as they're ringing up purchases. Wow. That is gross.
Their cameras take a picture every second while you're trying to do your checkout. Okay? Now, if you just happen to put your credit card up there, it's going to take a picture of that, and it has recognition. It will be able to read it. Okay?
Mm-mm.
So that's another thing. On top of that, they have another thing I was completely unaware of. They have apparently a gadget that they use, and they can easily see what you're doing at your checkout without even being near you, and know whether or not if something's not right. And they can stop your checkout while you're trying to, maybe you're trying to fudge something, take a little something extra. They actually can know this with a separate gadget while they're not even next to you.
Mm.
So that's something they have as well. So there's a lot of things like this. And then on top of that, of course, with their hundreds of locations closing and this whole idea of sectioning, what could that turn into? We remember back 5-10 years ago, they were talking about if there's a weather, event, that they could use Walmart for something else, that whole thing. So what could this turn into in the
Is he going there? Is he going to go there?
end? That's the question. And so that's what I'm kind of presenting here. We have also a number of other things. I'm going to be talking about a couple of things I didn't talk about on the other channel because
Come on, sir.
I actually talked about this twice. So, like I said, they have this rationing already going on, and this is Yahoo News, folks. Fruit and vegetables, because of what?
Did y'all hear about the simple fact that they said frozen strawberries have like hepatitis B or something on it, or was it salmonella as well? Like, how do frozen strawberries get like salmonella and hepatitis B on them? What's going on? Supermarkets ration fruit and vegetables with warning over panic buying.
What? People buying a lot, or too many, because of like what we saw back in 2020. Remember when everybody was buying all the toilet paper?
Mm-hmm.
They're just buying everything all, like crazy, right? What if they start making it so they section off? Everybody wants to go and buy a bunch of stuff, and then you can't. You see what I mean? So that's what I was trying to get at with that. Now, there's some other thing I wanted to... Oh, yeah, there's a couple things over here I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so now we have also office vacancy. Now, this sounds completely unrelated. All this stuff sounds unrelated until you start thinking about it from a bird's eye view. Office vacancy will skyrocket 55% by the end of the decade. So hybrid and remote work. Why? They want you to work from home. Then they want to section the city off. Then you can't go to different places easily. You're stuck in an area. You see what I'm getting at? Make it very unaffordable to fly. Make it very unaffordable to drive your car. They want you to have an electric car. You see what I mean? You can see all these things together. You can see kind of the and there's another thing. I saw a video about what they're doing in Europe in some countries where it will cost you $100,000 to get your house up to date with what they...
And that reminds me, and $100,000 to get your house up to date. That reminds me of a movie. I cannot think of it. But it's pretty much to where you're monitored and you can only go in certain areas. And if you go out of that zone, then the police or the UN or the army or military, because that's who they would bring in to control these large populations of areas eventually, would literally take you or arrest you for doing that and say, like, what are you doing out of your zone? Well, I'm just trying to go to my parents' house. No, they're not in that zone. You're not supposed to go over there. They can literally do that. And again, this is not to scare you guys. This is to make you aware of what's going on.
They want you to have in the future. They want to have you have all green energy, appliances, green energy.
Okay, class. Who would like
And
to
what
do
happens
problem
if you
3
can't
on the
afford to
board?
buy that green energy stuff? Will you get fined for it?
Heater and air conditioning, which I actually had to buy, folks, recently, and it cost a ton, as much as a car. It literally cost
Wow.
$14,000, and to replace my air conditioner and heater. There was one set, and it's like very energy efficient, so it actually would pass their green energy, whatever. But if you had to do that to your entire house, We're talking $100,000 easy is what they were starting to estimate. And they're doing this already in Europe. So sectioning off, of course, cities, making you buy all this very green energy stuff for your house to be updated and up to code. All this stuff on top of each other. Your wallet shrinking, your debt up, your wages are not increasing with inflation. All these things together. And then on top of that, office space vacancy. So this is to sort of facilitate all those other things. And then, of course, if you have digital, of course, currency, then they could set it up to where some currencies for food, some currency, they'll have different coins. And this is what some have talked about. So this is all that we're seeing so far. Now check this out. This is other countries. So where you and I live, we're complaining because we have like 10% inflation or whatever it might be. 99%. How's that sound? Argentina, 99% inflation currently. Food prices through the roof. We have people, of course, out in the streets. As a result, this is not the only country. You also have Beirut. There's also a number of other countries, some in Africa, some in South America. Now it's also banks in Beirut. People are not exactly happy. Just check this out. You can kind of get an idea just seeing that little photo there. They're going, of course, after the banks. Not happy. And I'm wondering let me see a little bit more about this. Okay, so what does it say here? What is the reason? Okay, because of their economy deteriorating. Record low. The Lebanese pound fell to a record low of 80,000 to $1. Depositors at 5 banks, and this was another thing. There was a video that came out. I can't remember what bank it was, talking about bail, of course, ins. And back in 2008, the GOV gave these banks money. This time, it's going to be your money in the account. Your money in the account. When Chase or Wells Fargo or whatever is going to go bankrupt, guess who's going to give them money? You.
No, I'm not.
Your account at the bank. And this is probably what happened in Beirut. This is what I'm guessing. Okay. So I think that might be what's going on. Probably. That's I'm guessing. Because they made that law, I think, back in 2014 for a lot of the major banks. That's why I put a lot of my money into credit unions and smaller banks, although I still have some at some of the bigger ones too. But I'm just curious what's going to happen with that. But there's so many other stories like this. We even have, I just want to kind of give you sort of the picture with this. So if you can imagine Walmart with all this stuff that I mentioned and sort of what this future could entail that they want, I think you get kind of the idea. Kind of want to see what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.
Yes, you guys. Make sure that you guys come over to his channel, show it some love. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and put a big thumbs up, you guys. Make sure that you stay prayed up because we are in like such dark and wicked times where it's nothing but the devil, trying to literally control every facet of our lives. And it's just like a movie. Like, I feel like we're living in a movie right now. We know how the story ends already, though. You know what I'm saying? It's just very wicked. So I love you guys so much. Comment down below anything that can help people. I'm going to put all of these emergency supplies, all of this stuff right here in the comment section or the description box along with his channel. So again, make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching. Mwah.